Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today watching the webinar on social and emotional learning. We are BURST consultants, and that stands for the Behavior Response Support Team, and it's a collaboration project between Granite School District and the University of Utah's UTech Lab. I am Alex Graves, and I am going to be graduating with my master's in special education this coming May, and I am also pursuing my BCBA to be a board certified behavior analyst.
And my name is Morgan Hutchinson. I'm also a master's student. I'm in studying clinical mental health counseling with a potential emphasis in couples counseling and parent-child interactions.
So today with our webinar, we want to do a few things. We want to ensure that you understand the purpose of SEL and the 5 core competencies that go along with it. We also want to give you some ideas about how to establish a supportive classroom environment and embed SEL into your academic lessons. It's also important to mention during this webinar ways to bridge the gap between home and school by communicating with parents and also giving them resources on ways that they can help implement SEL at home. So here, oh, your turn, Morgan.
So before we dive in, let's talk about what SEL even is. And some of you may have heard of it and some of you may not have, and that's perfectly okay. Basically, SEL is the process of learning social and emotional skills, such as understanding and managing your emotions and setting and achieving goals, being able to be compassionate and feel empathy towards others, having those positive social relationships, and making responsible decisions. And all of these components are essential for success, not only in school, but also in your students' future lives and careers. And SEL really has the greatest impact when children begin to learn it at an early age. So it's essential that it's something you can start incorporating into your students' lives now for the best possible outcomes. And then you may be thinking that you have enough on your plate as teachers, and we agree, you have a lot to do. But SEL is simply embedded within your existing framework of teaching. And looking at these outcomes, you can easily see the many benefits of SEL. So research shows that it can increase positive attitudes in your students, such as they can feel a greater sense of belonging, have high or greater motivation, and even just better coping skills to deal with the everyday stressors of life. And then it can also increase positive behaviors such as more class participation, better social skills, and even decreased problem behavior, which will give you as a teacher more time to teach and not have to worry about those problem behaviors. And also importantly, it has been shown to help increase school performance, such as higher test scores and grades, and even better problem solving skills and greater reading comprehension. So we know that like we said, we know how difficult your job as a teacher is, but implementing SEL really will benefit both you and your students in the long run.
So we're going to be looking at SEL through a tier 1 lens because that is your everyday practice with the students in your classroom. And as far as SEL goes, it is made up with 5 core competencies: self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. And like we've talked about, these 5 things, they create a well-balanced person as a whole. So we want to make sure that these students and teaching social emotional learning from a young age up through school is going to encourage students to be the most successful as possible. And with these 5 core competencies, as this image shows, they are embedded within different environments. And that includes the classroom, schools, and communities. So how can we teach students to generalize these 5 competencies across these different environments? So looking more closely about each of the competencies, we're going to start with talking about social awareness. So social awareness is what students need to be able to identify their own emotions, to come up with their own self-perception, what they think about themselves by recognizing what they're good at, and also what they struggle with. And then we have social awareness, and this involves taking perspective and being able to empathize with others, appreciate and accept diversity, and just also have an overall respect for other people in their community or whoever they're in relationships with. Responsible decision making, that is identifying problems, being able to analyze situations and to solve those problems and evaluate why they're occurring and what they can do about them. And also being reflective is a big part of that as well. Then we come to relationships, and maintaining a healthy relationship as an adult is so critical, both personally and also in the workplace. So this is an important area to focus on, and a great place to practice is in school. So working on communication, encouraging social engagement, how students can build relationships with each other, with teachers, and with their parents, and also making sure that teamwork is incorporated into your everyday teaching practice. So then we look at self-management, and as teachers, we know that self-management is a skill that absolutely needs to be practiced multiple times throughout the day because students have a difficult time regulating their emotions. So if a student is impulsive or seems really stressed or has a difficult time following directions, self-management is really the area that we need to focus. So with SEL, you want to make sure that students are setting goals and working on organizational skills and being able to recognize when they're feeling upset, anxious, shy, depressed, all of those things. So as we mentioned earlier, these are things that are just done throughout your daily teaching practice. And SEL is so great because it embeds itself and aligns really well within positive behavior and intervention supports just on its own. So you've probably seen this and taught this, especially in the beginning of the school year. The school-wide expectation matrix is a way to make sure that students are being taught what it looks like and what it sounds like to be involved in different settings throughout the school day that align with the 3 to 5 positively stated school-wide expectations. So with SEL in the school system and making sure it is aligning with PBS, it's important to remember that this is going to be a team approach. So a team is going to be created to look at SEL and to determine what areas the team wants the school to focus on and what that will look like within the matrix. And data will be collected and used to be able to make informed decisions on positive student outcomes. So if we're looking at this matrix and how the expectations look across different environments, a really good example of how you can embed SEL is through the respect school-wide expectation. So respect looks a bunch of different ways throughout your classrooms, and you've explicitly defined this and explicitly taught this, but making sure that it's reaching an SEL goal looks like the lunch setting. So inviting others who are sitting alone to join. And this is a way to align it with being socially aware, being empathetic, and being a member of the community. So it's just part of your everyday practice, but there are quick and easy ways to align it with the school-wide expectations as well that you just see in Tier 1.
Thanks, Alex. And then, so in order to have SEL in your classroom, there are really 3 essential areas or components that you need to establish. So as you can see in the graph on the right, you have explicit instruction, a supportive classroom environment, and then integration of SEL into academic instruction. But the explicit instruction really serves as a foundation and is embedded within a supportive classroom environment and the integration of SEL into the academic instruction. And as Alex was talking about the school-wide expectations and Tier 1 behavior supports, these areas are also most effective if they are tied to the school-wide expectations and the Tier 1 behavior supports. And we're going to have some examples of what each of these mean on the following slides.